Okay. Okay. Now, what is the concept of color? Right? Okay. What is the concept of color? So we see that most of the coordination compounds. We see that most of the coordination compounds. We see that most of the coordination compounds are colored. Okay, so what is the concept of color out here? When do we observe color? Okay, so the concept of color is that whenever any compound, okay, whenever any compound observes radiation within the wavelength of visible region. What is the radiation within the visible region? Visible region का wavelength radiation क्या है? Yes, visible जो radiation है, visible radiation. What is the order of wavelength? Yes, what is the order of wavelength? It varies from what? It varies from 350 nanometer to 750 nanometer. So any compound, when it observes radiation having wavelength which falls within this region, then okay, we say that the compounds are colored. And in visible region, we have something known as a visible spectrum. So what are the colors of the spectrum? Vibgyor, right? V, I, B, G, Y, O, R. Vibgyor. How are these colors arranged? This is known as a visible spectrum. Na? So how are these color arranged? Any idea? Why this pattern Vibgyor? Why do we call this as spectrum? What is the meaning of spectrum? Spectrum means the arrangement of radiation. Spectrum means the arrangement of radiation in increasing order of wavelength. Right? So here also these colors have been arranged in order of increasing wavelength. That means out of these colors, red has the maximum wavelength. It is arranged in order of increasing wavelength. So red color has the maximum wavelength, and here the violet color hai, it has the minimum wavelength. Right? Okay, so these colors are arranged in order of increasing wavelength. These are arranged in order of increasing wavelength like this. Okay, now the color which we see, is not the color observed. Right? Okay, the color is actually the complementary color of the color observed. That means if a compound observes blue, okay, radiation corresponding to that of blue color, if it observes light having a wavelength corresponding to blue color, then the compound does not appear blue, right? Okay, it appears something else, complementary color. So how do we determine the complementary color? We draw a wagon wheel like this, right? We draw a wagon wheel like this. Okay, so let us split up like this. So how many colors are there? There are 7 colors, but here I'll be just writing 6. So indigo and blue, they are quite the same. So I'll just eliminate this indigo. Okay, V, B, G, Y, O, R. What does this mean? If a compound observes green portion of the light, it appears, what is the complementary color of green? Red. If it observes violet portion, it appears yellow. If it observes blue, orange, it appears blue. So these are the complementary colors. Okay. So the color of a compound is complementary to that of the color observed. If it observes radiation having wavelength of green light, that compound does not appear green, rather it appears red. If a compound observes radiation having a wavelength that of blue light, it does not appear blue, rather it appears orange like this. Okay, so this is the concept of color. This is the concept of color. Okay, so we are studying why coordination compounds are colored. Why coordination compounds are colored. Okay, now what is the concept of color? Now we see that in the presence of ligands, according to crystal field theory, in the presence of ligands, the 5d orbitals, the 5d orbitals are splitted up into two energy levels like this. What are the two energy levels? Yes, what are the two sets? It's a EG set and a T2G set. It's a EG set and it is a T2G set. So yeah, obviously I'm talking about what type of complexes. Here I am talking about here octahedral complexes. Here I am talking about a octahedral complex. Okay. So now what happens is, suppose we have a complex like this, SC, say H2O, whole 6, tripositive. What is the oxidation state of scandium out here, yes, guys? What is the oxidation state of scandium? Tell me.
+3.
+3. Okay, what is the electronic configuration? Okay, so instead of scandium, just I'll write down titanium, titanium, sorry. So oxidation state of titanium is +3. Ti +3. What is the electronic configuration? Atomic number 22. It has an atomic number of 22, titanium. So titanium dipositive ka 3d2, titanium tripositive ka, yes, 3d1. So there is one electron obviously which occupies the lower energy level T2G. Now what is the mechanism is, when light falls on it, when radiation falls on it, what does this complex do? This complex has a single electron or an unpaired electron in the T2Z level like this. So on absorption of radiation, depending upon the amount of energy it has absorbed, there will be an excitation of the electron from the T2Z level to the EZ level like this. Okay, so the electrons will be excited from the T2Z level to the EZ level, and this is known as a DD transition. It's known as a DD transition. It's rather DD transition. Okay, and the amount of energy required for this excitation, what does it depend upon? Obviously, the amount of energy required for this excitation depends upon the crystal field splitting energy. It depends upon the energy difference between these two sets. If the energy difference is less, what will happen? Less energy is required for the transition. But if the energy difference is more energy is required for the transition. Okay, so that means the amount of energy required for the transition, it depends upon the what? Crystal field splitting energy. So this is the mechanism. And so whenever a coordination compound has one or more unpaired electron, then on absorption of radiation, okay, the electron gets promoted from the T2Z level to the EZ level, and this phenomena is known as a DD transition. Now, one simple question. Do you think this electron will stay in the excited state, or will it return to the ground state then? What will happen to this electron after getting excited? This electron will remain in the EZ state, or will it return back to the T2Z state? Obviously, the electron must return to the ground state. On returning to the ground state, what it does? It emits some radiation. It will emit some radiation, and depending upon the wavelength of the light emitted, we observe the color of the complex. Okay, so what is responsible for color of coordination compounds? We say DD transitioning. Okay, DD transition. Okay, so DD transition is responsible for the color of the coordination compound. So what is the criteria out here? Presence of one or more unpaired electron. Okay, now you can easily explain the fact. Explain why SC H2O whole 6 tripositive complex, these are colorless. Why is this colorless? Now explain. So these are most probable questions. So why is this complex colorless? So when is the compound colored? A compound is colored, okay, when there is a DD transition. That means when there is a transition of an electron from one set to another set like this. Okay, so then the compounds appear colored. Why is this complex colorless? Now all the answers can be found if you write down the electronic configuration. So electronic configuration, scandium, tripositive means 3d0, dipositive का 3d1 है, scandium का 21 है atomic number. So scandium dipositive is 3d1, so scandium tripositive is 3d0. So due to the absence of d electrons, no dd transition occurs, and hence the complex appears colorless. Okay, so we can just say here, due to absence of what? Due to absence of d electrons. Okay, here no dd transition, occurs. Okay, hence the complex is colorless. Hence the complex is colorless. Okay, so 3d0 complexes are colorless है, क्योंकि d electron ही नहीं है तो transition कहाँ से होगा? Transition नहीं होगा तो how come the complex will be colored? Okay, similarly Zn, say H2O whole 6 dipositive. Why is this colorless, guys? Why is this colorless? Tell me, why is this colorless? What is the oxidation state of zinc out here? What is the oxidation state? Zn dipositive. Zn dipositive means what is the electronic configuration? Zinc atomic number 30. So zinc dipositive means 3d10. 3d10 means yes. 3d10 means we have this situation now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now you tell me, can DD transition occur out here? Can an electron be promoted from T2Z to EZ? Is it possible? Can one electron be unpaired and get promoted to the EZ set like this?
No, sir.
No, because it will violate Pauli's exclusion principle. In that case, an orbital will have to accommodate 3 electrons, which is not possible. Okay, so why is this complex colorless? Due to field T2Z and EZ set. Due to full field T2Z and EZ level, DD transition does not occur, or DD transition cannot take place. Okay, so due to full field T2Z and EZ energy level, DD transition cannot take place, and hence these complexes are what? These complexes are colorless. Okay, so remember, complexes having 3d0 and 3d10 electronic configuration, these are colorless. Okay, बाकी का complexes जो है, they are colored. So this is the concept of color. So why are most of the coordination compounds colored? Okay, so coordination compounds are colored because on observing radiation, the electrons, they get promoted from a lower T2Z set to the EZ set. Okay, and on observing radiation from which region? If they observe radiation from UV region, will they appear colored? Radiation का wavelength तो they extend in UV region, they extend in infrared region, microwave region. कब colored दिखाई देगा? When they observe radiation corresponding to which wavelength? Which
Visible
region?
radiation.
Visible region. Okay, that word should be known. So on observing radiation, okay, from the visible region, on observing radiation from the visible region, The electrons gets excited from the T2Z level to the EZ level. Okay, and the color we see is complementary to the color of the wavelength of light observed. The color actually which we see is complementary to the color of the wavelength of the light which has been observed out. Okay, so that's the concept of color. And this phenomena is also known as the DD transition. So here we saw 3D knot and 3D10 complexes are colorless. Okay. Okay. So one more thing. So I told you here, I made it very clear, the DD transition, the amount of energy, it depends upon the crystal field splitting. And what does this energy difference depend upon? Just tell me, what is this energy difference between EG set and T2Z set depend upon? What do they depend upon? Yes? किसमें depend करेगा? The energy difference between EG and T2Z set. Yes, we have said it, we have discussed time and again. It depends upon the nature of ligands. So strong ligands will cause greater splitting. Energy difference ज़्यादा होगा strong ligand के presence में. Weak ligand will cause lesser splitting. Weak ligand के presence में energy difference कम होगा. Okay, strong ligands will cause greater splitting and weak ligands will cause lesser splitting. Okay. Now see, I'll just discuss a very interesting topic. Okay. Interesting ही है. Okay, so just start with the question. Start with the question. Pratyek, why are you so late every day? What will be the what will be the correct order for the wavelength of absorption in the visible region of absorption in the visible region of following complexes. Of following complexes. Okay, so let me write down the complexes out here. So nickel, hexa, aqua, nickel complex, Ni. So Ni, so write it along with me, NiH2O whole 6 di positive. Okay. Then NiNH3 whole 6 di positive. Then NiNO2 whole 6 tetra negative. Okay, fine. So let us analyze this question. So a lot of concepts will be clear out here. Okay, lots of concepts needs to be cleared out here. Okay. So what is the question? What will be the correct order for the wavelength of absorption in the visible region of the following complexes? Okay. So first of all, what you do is you find out the oxidation number of nickel in the three complexes. क्या होगा? Just tell me the oxidation number of nickel. तीन complex में what is the oxidation number of nickel out here in the three complexes?
+2 in everything.
+2 in all the three. So nickel dipositive, nickel dipositive, nickel dipositive. Okay. So they just differ in the nature of ligands. Right? What type of ligand is this water?
weak,
Weak. Ammonia?
strong,
Strong. NO2? Nitrite?
strong,
Strong. Ah, okay. Out of ammonia and nitrite, which one is a stronger ligand? Just
nitrite,
refer your spectrochemical series. Yes, nitrite is a stronger ligand, right? Okay, coordination number are all 6. Right? So what happens is here, I'll draw the energy level diagram. Right? Okay, I'll draw the energy level diagram. Okay, so I'm going to draw the energy level diagram. So what happens out here? So we know it's an octahedral complex. So it will be splitted up into two energy levels, EZ and T2Z level. Okay, and let the energy difference be between these two sets now be denoted by delta E1A or delta naught prime like this. Okay, it's denoted by delta. Now here also, yes, energy axis, energy is increasing in this direction just to denote that EZ set ka zyada energy. Okay, so here also. So what will the difference out here? Will the splitting be by the same amount कि यहाँ पर ज़्यादा होगा splitting second complex में? The amount of splitting it depends on the nature of ligand. Stronger ligand will cause greater splitting. So obviously out here the amount of splitting or the energy difference will be a little bit more out here. Right? So this is the T2Z. Okay, so it's clear from the diagram the splitting is little bit greater out here. So let this denoted by delta not double prime like this. Or I can, okay, so delta not double prime. And this is the strongest ligand. Since this is the strongest ligand, the amount of splitting will be highest out here. Right? The amount of splitting will be highest out here. Okay, so this was what I was trying to explain here. So that means the amount of energy required for DD transition, okay, it depends upon the amount nature of ligand. If there is a stronger ligand, more energy is required to promote an electron from T2Z to EZ level. If the ligand is weak, then less energy is required to promote an electron. So it's a nickel dipositive complex. Means what is the electronic configuration out here? What is the electronic configuration? 3D8A. So it's a weak ligand does not cause pairing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fine. So strong ligand, it will cause pairing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So configuration is same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So DD transition will occur out. Okay. Now we are supposed to find out the correct order of wavelength of absorption. Now tell me, how is energy related to wavelength? So this is the energy difference. How is energy related to wavelength? How is energy related to wavelength? What is the relation between energy and wavelength? Yes, E equals to what? H mu. Energy is directly proportional to frequency, and E is equal to hc by lambda. That means energy and wavelength are inversely proportional. Remember, okay, so energy is inversely proportional to a wavelength. Energy is inversely proportional to the wavelength. What does this mean? What does this mean? If the energy difference is high, if the energy difference is high, it will absorb light having high wavelength or low wavelength. Tell me. If the energy difference is high, energy is inversely proportional to wavelength. Right? So greater the energy difference, what wavelength of light it will absorb? Having high wavelength or low wavelength?
low wavelength,
Low wavelength. On the contrary, if the energy difference is less, then it will absorb light having
higher wavelength.
Higher wavelength. It will absorb light having higher wavelength. Okay. So what will be the correct order of wavelength? So which complex will observe light having least wavelength then?
Nitrite.
Nitrite. So order of wavelength. It is the correct order of wavelength of light observed. So this will observe light having least wavelength, followed by this, followed by this. So this is the concept. It is the concept. Very important. Okay. So in your entrance part also, in your boards level as well. So greater the amount of splitting, okay. So energy is inversely proportional to wavelength. So the energy difference more means it will observe light having least wavelength. So this complex will observe light having least wavelength. So since the energy difference is least out here, it will observe light having maximum wavelength. So this complex will observe light having greatest wavelength out. Okay, now if three options are given, if three options are given, say yellow, green, red. Which will observe red, which will observe yellow, which will observe green? Tell me now. How will you solve this now? चलो मैंने color ही दिया, if three options are given color का. Which will observe yellow, which will observe green, which will observe red? How are you going to solve this? Give it a
Sir,
try.
Anishka is in the waiting room.
Why is Anishka in the wait? काहीं नहीं है. So how are these colors arranged? Vib gear, na? VIBGYOR. So if I arrange this in order of increasing wavelength, red का maximum wavelength होगा, green का minimum wavelength होगा. Now which complex will observe light having maximum wavelength? First or second or third one in this particular problem? Which complex will observe light having maximum wavelength?
First.
First. That means it will observe which portion of the light? It will observe which portion?
Red.
Red. Very good. It will observe red. Good. Excellent. The last one, it will observe light having minimum wavelength. That means it will observe which light? Green. Okay. Now obviously this one will observe yellow. So these are the wavelength of the light absorbed. Right? But do these complexes appear red, yellow, green, or the complementary color of these? Will these complexes appear red, yellow, or green, or the complementary color of these?
Complementary color.
Complementary color. What is the complementary color of red? क्या था वो wheel देखो?
Green.
Green. So this complex will appear. This complex will appear green. It will appear green. Green का क्या था? Complementary color red.
So
Yes. Yellow का क्या था?
violet.
Violet. So yes, these are the color of the complexes. So it will observe red portion. So it will appear green. It will observe yellow. It will appear complementary color of yellow is violet. It will observe green. That means it will appear red. So is this concept clear, guys? Yes. Is this concept very much clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, fine. So yes. Okay, we can also say from the nature of ligands that which complex will observe light having maximum wavelength, which complex will observe light having minimum wavelength, and so on. Okay, because the simple relation is the energy is inversely proportional to the wavelength. Okay, so this is the concept of color. This is the concept of color. So I hope this part is understood now. So next topic, write down stability of coordination compounds. Stability of coordination compounds. Stability of coordination compounds. Okay. Stability of coordination compounds. Now, what we do is let us explain the formation. Okay, let us take the formation. Let us consider the stepwise. Let us consider the stepwise formation of an octahedral complex. So you try to understand this, okay? OH stands for octahedral complex. So remember, in an octahedral complex, how many ligands are associated with the metal? 6. Okay, so what are we doing? So let us imagine that I have a metal M. Okay, so at first in the step one ligand is associated with it. Fine. So yes, equilibrium Ml. So what is the equilibrium constant given by? Tell me, what is the equilibrium constant K1 given by? The concentration of the product divided by concentration of the reactant. So one simple concept I'll just clear out here. Now see, if the product is very unstable, if the product is very unstable, do you think it will be formed? Do you think it will be formed? Product ekdam unstable hai, so it will be formed in large amount ki less amount. If a product is very unstable, okay, then do you think a reaction will proceed to form that product in greater amount? Is it possible? No.
No.
So, okay, if the amount of product is, if the concentration of product is high, that means the product is stable. If the concentration of product is low, that means it is unstable. So your K1 is equal to concentration of product by concentration of reactant. So high concentration of product means higher the value of K1. Got it? High concentration of product means higher the value of K1. That means these equilibrium constant give us an idea about the stability of the complex. That means higher the value of this equilibrium constant, more stable will be the product. Simple सा correlate करें हम लोग. इसका concentration ज़्यादा मतलब product stable. इसका concentration ज़्यादा मतलब mathematically K1 का value high होगा. So K1 gives a measure about the stability of complex. Okay. Now similarly in the second step क्या होगा? We have Ml is formed. Now again a second ligand will get associated with it. So what do we get out here? We get Ml2. So now the equilibrium constant K2 is given by Ml2. Then what do you have out here? What do you have out here? MLL. Similarly third step में क्या होगा? Yes, tell me. Third step में Ml2 plus L equilibrium. Ml2 plus L equilibrium. What will be formed? Ml3. Yes, K3 is equal to Ml3 divided by Ml2L. Now in this way, we can consider the formation of an octahedral complex like this. So Ml6, what will you write down? Ml6, what will you write down? What will you write down? Ml6? Okay, so we can do like this. Octahedral chhod do. Let us consider formation of a complex MLN likho. Chalo. So this will be more interesting. MLN. So in the formation of the complex MLN, what will you write out here? Look at simple. ML formula से good. ML3 होने से ML2 एक कम plus L, एक L तो रहेगा ही यहाँ. Plus yes, what will you write down? Excellent. MLN minus 1. Yes, and this is given by Kn. It is equal to MLN. Okay, divided by MLN minus 1 L. Okay. So these are known as a stepwise stability constant. Eh? So these K1, K2, K3, this K1, K2, K3, these are known as a stepwise. These are known as a stepwise stability constant. These are known as a stepwise stability constant. Okay, so they provide an information about the stability of the complex. Right? Now, if you add this, if you add, okay, if you add all these steps, then what will you get? If you add all these steps, what will you get? Tell me. Yes, पूरा ऐड करोगे तो क्या मिलेगा? देखो, ml कैंसिल हो रहा है, ml2 कैंसिल हो रहा है, या ml3 कैंसिल होगा, ml n-1 कैंसिल होगा. Finally, what will you get? These are getting cancelled, na? These are in the opposite side. Finally, what will you get? Yes, tell me. This will also get
Plus
cancelled.
n.
M. How many L? How many L? How many L? N number of L finally gives us MLN. Finally gives us N. Now you must, so I'm not going into details now. You must have studied in class 11 that in equilibrium, when the reactions are added, when we add the reactions, what will happen to the equilibrium constant? Yes, when the equations are added, the equilibrium constant gets multiplied. The equilibrium constant gets multiplied. Okay. So out here I'm just writing as this beta n is equal to K1 into K2 into Kna. And this beta n is known as a overall stability constant. So this beta n is known as a overall stability constant. So what is the significance of this beta n then? It gives us a measure of stability of this complex. Higher the value of beta n, more stable will be the complex. Okay, higher the value of beta n, more stable will be the complex. Okay, fine, got it. And the reciprocal of beta n, the reciprocal of beta na. Okay, so the reciprocal of beta n, this, it is known as a instability complex. It's known as an instability constant. Obviously, higher the value of beta n, more will be the stability. Out here क्या होगा? Higher the value of 1 by beta n, lesser will be the stability of the complex. So तुम लोगों को क्या है? Whatever questions might come, you'll be given the values of beta n for different types of complexes, and you'll be asked to compare the stability. Okay, so I'll just look out for one. Okay, so yes, I can find one. I can find one. So got it. So yes, what are we discussing now? We are considering the formation of a complex MLN. Stepwise ऐसा form होगा, and this constant gives us a measure of stability of the complex. So when we add all this, we get the final equation for the formation of this complex MLN. And from from equilibrium, we know when the equations are added, the equilibrium constant gets multiplied. So this gives a measure of stability. So beta n is known as the overall stability constant. So the stability of the complexes can be compared if we know the value of beta n. How? Higher the value of beta n, more stable will be the complex. Higher the value of beta n, more stable will be the complex. Okay. And this inverse of stability constant is known as the instability constant. So obviously higher the value of 1 by beta n, more unstable will be the complex out here. So let us see some questions. Acha. Just here, but it's given. So it's given calculate the overall complex dissociation equilibrium. Calculate the overall complex dissociation equilibrium for CuNH3 all 4 dipositive, and it's given that beta 4 for the complex is 2.1 into 10 to the power 13. Okay. So ये जो overall dissociation complex है, overall complex dissociation, this reciprocal of dissociation constant है. This is also known as your overall dissociation equilibrium. Okay. Overall complex dissociation equilibrium is the another name, right? So what is this actually? We are supposed to calculate this. So this is equal to 1 by, what is the value of beta 4? 2.1 into 10 to the power minus 13. So simply we are supposed to calculate this. So overall complex dissociation equilibrium is reciprocal of stability constant. So what is the other name? Just now we told it's the other name is here instability constant. It's also known as instability constant. Other name is overall complex dissociation equilibrium. So इसका वैल्यू कितना आएगा तुम्हारा? इसका वैल्यू आएगा 4.7 into 10 to the power minus 14. 4.7 into 10 to the power minus 14. Fine. So this type of simple questions, or different complexes will be given. The value of beta will be given. You are supposed to compare the stability. Simple. I'm telling you. Higher the value of beta, more stable will be the complex. Higher the value of beta, more stable will be the complex. Okay. Okay. Fine. So next, talking about the stability of the complex. Okay. Just we need to discuss this again. Very simple cheese, one line explanation here, but it's quite important. Okay. So chelate complexes are more stable. So what are chelate ligands? We have done this before. So chelate complexes are more stable than non-chelate. Okay. And as the number of chelating ligand, as the number of chelating ligand increases, the stability of complexes also increases. Yes. Now you guys tell me, what do you mean by chelating ligands? Yes, we have discussed this thoroughly before. What do you mean by chelating complexes? Tell me. Jaldi.
Chelating ligands are the ones which forms ring-like structures. Like they're the
Ring-like
main
structure. Give an example of a chelating ligand then. Ethylene diamine, na?
ethylene diamine, bidentate
Yes.
eventually.
Ethylene diamine. Yes, ethylene diamine example of a chelating complex. Okay. So suppose these complexes are given, CrNH3 whole 6 tripositive. So do you see any chelating ligand out here?
Oh, sure.
No, we don't see. So how many chelating ligands do you see out here?
Only one.
One. How many chelating ligands out here? Two.
Two.
and out here 3A. Okay, so the coordination number is same 6. यहाँ पर भी it's a bidentate ligand. It will form 2 coordinate bond, 2 plus 4, 6. Okay, 1 EN will form 2 coordinate bond, 2 EN will form 4, 4 plus 2, 6. Okay, oxidation number is also same. Now, if you're asked to compare the stability of the complexes, how will you compare? So this point now comes into play. So complexes having chelating ligands are considered to be more stable than complexes having non-chelating ligands. Right? And the fact is that as the number of chelating complexes, as the number of chelating ligand increases, the stability will also increase. So what is the order of stability? Now the fourth complex has the highest number of chelating ligands, it will be the most stable. So the order of stability will be this. So greater the number of chelating ligands, greater will be the stability, greater will be the stability. Okay, so in your board level explanation is not there, just remember this fact. Okay, remember this fact. So we have discussed thoroughly about the stability of complexes. Okay, we have discussed thoroughly about the stability of complexes. Now, last part of coordination compounds which is there in your syllabus is a carbonyl compounds. Okay, carbonyl compounds. Carbonyl compounds. Carbonyl compounds. So what are carbonyl compounds? Carbonyl compounds are complexes. Carbonyl compounds are complexes where carbon monoxide acts as a ligand. Okay, so these are known as carbonyl compounds. So what are carbonyl compounds? Those carbonyl compounds are those complexes where CO acts as a ligand, where carbon monoxide acts as a ligand, are known as a carbonyl compounds. Okay, for example, NiCO. So yes, nickel we have seen from your valence bond theory, it is a tetrahedral complex, right? Okay, it's a tetrahedral complex. So we have nickel out here. So 4 CO at the 4 corners of a tetrahedral like this. So it's known as a nickel tetracarbonyl. Fine, it's a carbonyl complex. So we have FeCO5, iron pentacarbonyl, iron pentacarbonyl. Okay, so it has a trigonal bipyramidal structure. So we have Fe like this. So we have CO out here, we have CO acting as a ligand, we have CO acting as a ligand. So it's known as a trigonal bipyramidal structure. FeCO5 is known as a trigonal bipyramidal structure. Fine. So you just need to remember the structure CrCO6. What is the coordination number? 6. Coordination number 6. When you say what is the geometry? Coordination number 6. When you say what is the geometry? Yes. What did I say? What is the geometry? It is octahedral. It has an octahedral geometry. It has an octahedral geometry. It has an octahedral geometry. Fine. So these are known as a mononuclear carbonyl complexes. Mononuclear means there is just one metal atom out there. But there are some examples, okay, of dinuclear carbonyl complexes. For example, Fe2, so example लिख लो, Mn2CO Holten, Mn2CO Holten, Mn2CO Holten. So we have manganese out here. So we have a manganese bond, and each manganese is coordinated to 5 carbon monoxide like this. Bas. 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a dinuclear. Why dinuclear? We have 2 manganese. We have 2 manganese. Okay. So one more example is there. One more example is there which has a quite unusual structure. So all these are there in your syllabus. So Fe2CO whole, and yes, there are 2 iron atoms, so it's a dinuclear. There is just one metal, so it's a mononuclear, mononuclear, dinuclear, dinuclear. Right? So what is the structure of this? Okay, what is the structure of this? So we have Fe, Fe, each iron, CO, CO, CO like this. We have CO. How many? CO? 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so these CO acts as a bridging ligand. It acts as a bridging ligand. So how many bridging ligands are there? CO ka 3. 1, 2, 3. They act as a bridge between the two metals. So is there any bridging ligand out here? No. There is no bridging ligand. Okay, CO does not act as a bridge between two Mn. But here there are 3 CO which acts as a bridge between two Fe. So these are known as a bridging ligands. So nothing as such. Okay, no need to go into detail. Just structure याद करने से हो जाएगा. Just go through the structure. Okay, just go through the structure. Right? Okay. Now, what is so special about this CO? What have you noticed so special about this CO? Anyone can answer this? What is so special about this carbon monoxide, which acts as a ligand? So, what is the reason we are studying as a separate topic out here? Something must be special. Out of so many ligands, why are we studying carbon monoxide separately? Yes, what is the answer? Because in the spectrochemical series, we saw that CO acts as a strongest ligand. CO acts as a strongest ligand. So there must be some reason why CO acts as a strongest ligand. Okay, there must be some reason. Okay, so nature of bonding in metal carbonyls. Nature of bonding will be the last topic. Nature of bonding in metal carbonyls. Nature of bonding in metal carbonyls. Okay. Okay, now see. So in CO, when CO acts as a ligand, okay, carbon is a donor atom. Okay, so we have a metal and we have a carbon monoxide. So we say that the metal carbon bond has, okay, the metal carbon bond has both sigma and pi character. Just listen carefully. You listen carefully. It has both sigma and pi character. Now, how am I going to explain this? Okay, how am I going to explain is that. So again, let us recapitulate class 11 concept. Okay, in class 11, in the chapter of chemical bonding and molecular structure, okay, there was something known as a molecular orbital theory, MO theory बोल के कुछ था. Do you remember? Molecular orbital theory, molecular orbital electronic configuration. Yes, it was there. Okay, so actually, I'm just trying to explain you. You don't need to do all this. Okay, so I'll tell you what to write. But I need to explain this. So CO, what is the atomic number of carbon? What is the atomic number of carbon? 6. And that of oxygen, 8. 6 plus 8 is 14. So when the number of electron is 14, what was the electronic configuration? How did we write? So most of us have forgotten it. So no issues. So sigma 1s, remember? Sigma anti-bonding 1s. Sigma 2s. Sigma anti-bonding 2s. when the number of electrons is less than or equal to 14. Okay, then we have nitrogen. Pi to px, pi to py, sigma to pz, pi antibonding to px, pi antibonding to py. So if you are wondering what am I writing, this is the molecular orbital configuration. Okay. So total 14 electrons, each orbital में 2 electron होगा maximum. So we have 2 out here, we have 2 out here, we have 2 out here, we have 2, 2, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 like this. Okay, so this is the, so we have accommodated 14 electrons out here. Okay, fine. Okay, now here we see there is a vacant pi antibonding orbital. So there are vacant pi antibonding molecular orbitals, and there is a filled sigma orbital. Like there is a filled sigma orbital of carbon monoxide. Okay, and obviously we know the metal has some vacant d orbital. Like the metal possesses some vacant d orbitals. Okay, so what are you going to write down? Okay, the sigma. How is the sigma bond formed now? The sigma bond is formed by the donation of. Okay, obviously carbon will form a coordinate bond or a sigma bond with metal. So how is it formed? The sigma bond is formed by the donation of lone pair of electrons from carbon atom from carbon atom of what? Carbon monoxide to vacant d orbital of metal. Okay, bus. So how is the sigma bond formed? The sigma bond is formed by donation of lone pair of electrons from carbon atom of carbon monoxide to the vacant d orbital of metal. Okay. Now, however, what happens out here? Since carbon monoxide possesses a vacant pi antibonding molecular orbital, क्या होगा? Now, the pi bond is formed. The pi bond is formed by the back donation of electron from a filled metal d orbital, to vacant pi antibonding molecular orbital of carbon monoxide. So first write it down and I am explaining. So how is the sigma bond formed? As usual, sigma bond is formed by the donation of lone pair of electron from carbon to metal, vacant. But यहाँ पर क्या होगा? Why does this back bonding occur? The back bonding takes place due to the vacant pi antibonding molecular orbital of carbon monoxide. Okay, what does this mean? So let us now see. So we have a metal out here. So these are the orbitals of metal. Suppose this is an empty d orbital of metal. Okay, this is an empty d orbital of metal. So we have carbon like this. Now, Now see. So now I am going to denote this. ये जो pi antibonding molecular orbital है. Suppose these are the pi antibonding molecular orbital है. Okay, and this is a filled sigma molecular orbital of carbon monoxide. So yes, I am drawing electrons out here. I am drawing electrons. Fine. Now this is a vacant d orbital of metal. This is a vacant d orbital. Eh? These are the vacant d orbital. Fine. And how is a sigma bond formed? Normal sigma bond will be formed by the donation of electron from a filled orbital of ligand to a vacant orbital of metal like this. A normal sigma bond will be formed as expected. But however, in addition to this, यहाँ पर क्या होगा? Obviously, metal का तो खाली vacant orbital तो नहीं होगा. The metal will possess some d orbital which are occupied by electrons. So suppose these are the d orbitals of metals which are occupied by electrons. Right? Okay, so metal will possess vacant d orbital as well as empty d orbital. Right? Yes. So खाली empty d orbital होगा ऐसा नहीं है. Metal will possess vacant d orbital. So this is your filled metal orbital. This is your filled d orbital of metal. Filled d orbital. Okay, filled d orbital of metal. And this is a pi antibonding molecular orbital which is vacant. देखो ना खाली है. Now what will happen in this case? Now, how are they overlapping? These will overlap laterally like this. देखो ना laterally overlap हो रहा है. So now there will be a donation of electron from the metal to the ligand. उल्टा हो रहा है ना? Usually donation, what will donate electron? Usually what will donate electron? Ligand to metal. हो रहा है sigma bond. But यहाँ पर there will be a back donation of electrons from the filled metal d orbitals to the empty pi bonding orbital of carbon monoxide, resulting in the formation of what type of bond? Pi bond like this. So just you need to write this much. Okay, no need to show all this. I'm telling you, no need to show all this. If possible, yes, diagram yaad kar lena. So there is a sigma bond formed by the donation of electron from filled orbital of ligand to the vacant d orbital of metal, resulting in the formation of sigma bond. However, due to the presence of pi antibonding molecular orbital of CO, CO में pi antibonding molecular orbital खाली है. Due to the presence of empty pi antibonding molecular orbital, there will be a back donation of electron from filled metal d orbital to the pi antibonding molecular orbital, resulting in the formation of a pi bond. And this effect is known as yeah, what? It's known as a synergic effect. Okay, and it is due to this double bond character, it is due to the presence of sigma and pi bond character that CO acts as a very strong ligand. So if the question comes, why CO acts as the strongest ligand? This is the reason. No need to write this. I'm just trying to explain you. ये कहाँ से आया pi antibonding molecular orbital configuration. Okay, so this effect is known as a synergic effect. So CO is the only ligand where back donation of electron occurs. Why? Because CO is the only ligand which possesses pi antibonding molecular orbital which is vacant. So due to this, there will be a back transfer of electron from metal to ligand. उल्टा हो रहा है. Usually transfer of electron takes place from ligand to metal. लेकिन यहाँ पर metal to ligand हो रहा है, resulting in the formation of pi bond like this. Okay. So this effect is known as a synergic effect. Fine.